Hi, and welcome back to the channel on the college process. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over getting ready for college price increases as everything returns back to normal. Now, if you are new to the channel and are looking for additional college content, please hit the subscription button down below. It will notify you of new videos coming out. As well, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a comment and a like. It does help. That being said, let's jump right into today's video, getting ready for college price increases as everything returns back to normal. Now, as we're starting to find ourselves getting back to some sort of normalcy and college is looking to bring students back on campus, one thing you're going to start noticing is the college price freezes and the college is not increasing the price that much is going to change, unfortunately. Now, the normal was before the pandemic hit, about 90% of colleges typically increase their price between 3 to 5% every year. Now, obviously, because of the pandemic, that actually stopped for a lot of colleges. Most colleges did not increase their price for the previous academic year, obviously, because of the hardship that many families found themselves in. However, that is going to be changing this year, starting, unfortunately, in the fall 21 and 22 spring semester. Colleges are and have already began increasing the price once again. Now, while 3 to 5% increase is typically the norm for every academic year as far as an increase is concerned, not all colleges have followed this format, including Wisconsin. The University of Wisconsin, for their state students, has not increased in actually 9 years, as well as George Washington University has not increased the price for its students for many years. In fact, for George Washington University, once your student starts there, they will not increase the price for your student. Now, incoming students, their prices will increase, but the students that are actually part of their student body going forward after freshman year, your price will not increase. So not every college typically increases the price. Now, of course, if you want information about that, please check with the admissions office. The admissions office, you should think of them basically as the marketing arm of the college. So you always want to ask the admissions office, especially when it comes to cost of college, if you're looking at a college to apply to next year or the year after, does your school increase their price? If they do, how much do they typically increase the price by? As well as you also want to ask the college, if they don't increase the price, what are the factors involved to keeping the price the same as the year you guys started there? Because there are some universities like Rider University here in New Jersey that has in the past, if your student makes the dean's list, kept the price the same for their students. So there's a bunch of colleges out there that will actually lock in the price when you start, like George Washington University. There are colleges that just don't increase the price at all, like Wisconsin, which hopefully they'll keep doing, as well as other colleges like Rider University that will lock in the price as long as your student makes the dean's list, a 3.5 or higher on the GPA scale. So outside of those colleges, and there are a bunch more colleges in this mix, by the way, that either freeze the price or keep the price the same. Once again, check with admissions. Outside of those, as I mentioned before, 90% of colleges typically increase the price. So we are more likely going to see a re-emergence of the normalcy, I guess you can call it, as far as the prices going up. Now, of course, for those wondering, or I guess getting scared about, a giant price hike coming in the next year or two, most colleges are looking to increase their price between 1 to 2%, which is actually lower than the standard 3 to 5% that most colleges increase the price every academic year coming up. So for the 21-22 academic year, assume, let's call it a 2% increase starting off. But once again, after this academic year, 21-22, I would expect a bulk of the schools to go back to that 3 to 5% increase each year. That's just the norm. It's more likely what's going to end up happening. Now, if you are looking for additional ways to cut the cost, we also have this additional video here you can also watch, Understanding the College Bill. This video itself will actually go over different steps, different procedures, essentially different things to think about to help you reduce the college costs in future years coming forward, especially since we already know that college costs are going to be increasing back to the norm of 3 to 5%. Now, to give you an example of how the price increase affects you guys, let's look at college that costs, let's say, $50,000 a year, all inclusive, just to give you an idea of how much of a price increase on a percentage basis this affects you guys. Now, if we're looking at a 2% increase on a $50,000 college, a 2% increase next academic year will be basically a $51,000 price tag for the second year. Now, that's the high end for this year, 1 to 2%. Let's look at the high end on the normal side, which is typically 3 to 5%, so 5% would be the high typically on average. Here we're looking at a price increase of from $50,000 to $52,000. So obviously here we're talking about a big difference. As you plan it out all the way through graduation, all 4 years, you're essentially looking at starting at $50,000 from a 5% increase every year to $58,000 by the time you get to the last year, year 4 of the student going off to college. So obviously the difference between a 2% increase and a 5% increase is dramatic when you look at it over the time frame of the 4 years. Now, I always tell parents when I talk to them, especially whether it's in the group setting for a high school or to one-on-one consultations, I'm helping out parents, you always want to look at the price tag of the college, not from the 1 year perspective. You always want to look at the price tag from the 4-year perspective of every year going forward and how much of a total cost of attendance for the 4-year process you're looking at rather than just the 1 year. Yes, you're taking on the college cost on a yearly basis. Every year begins and every year you start over again. However, you don't want to look at it that way from the starting point of sending your student off to college. You want to look at it from the 4-year perspective. Can we afford the first year and the rest of the time there, the entire 4-year package, or do we feel comfortable taking out loans? And once again, there are colleges out there, and check with their admissions offices that have reduced the prices or kept prices frozen for the next year, 21-22. To give you another example, Fairleigh Dickinson University here in the state of New Jersey has actually reduced its price between 20 to 25%, depending on the major your student's going into for new students. Ohio State also has a new program in place where if your student stays online, they have reduced the price dramatically for students who are staying online to go to Ohio State University. So I know a lot of us want to get back to some normalcy. We want our students going back to campus. The students want to go back to campus. Everyone wants to get some sense of normalcy. But the colleges that are following the same format that Ohio State's following as far as providing additional discounts for students who stay online, the cost savings in some cases is as high as $10,000. Now, obviously, if cost is a factor for you and your student is okay with doing online courses, then saving $10,000 of your student's university might not be a bad way to think about it. Because remember, once again, college costs starting next academic year are going to be going back to normal. And as I showed you before with the $50,000 example, costs are not going to go down very likely. They're going to start going back up and going up aggressively, unfortunately, in some cases. So for me, it's something to think about. Can we look to mitigate the cost now by potentially going online again and maybe getting a huge cost savings by doing so? And once again, obviously check with the universities, see what plans and programs they have in place, because there are more colleges coming out next year considering following the same format of staying online and providing a pretty big discount if your student decides to go in that direction. So obviously, if cost is a factor, this might be a great way to go, at least for maybe one more academic year, and then your student goes on campus, but you save a bunch of money by doing this online. Once again, every family is different, so obviously talk about this with your family and obviously check with the admissions office, but it is something to consider. Because in addition to the online savings you're going to have, you're also going to have the savings of no room and board. So the cost savings could bring the cost of that university your student's considering just from their discounts alone before you even consider financial aid eligibility down to maybe half price. Or essentially some of these state colleges in-state cost, which obviously is another video we just did recently, explaining to parents how to establish in-state cost. I have the video here. You can actually click on it and down below in the description. Go to that video as well, because as many of you may or may not know, establishing in-state residency for a public university reduces the cost in some cases down to half. Now, with all that being explained and all that being talked about, once again, colleges are looking to go back to normal in all facets. Students on campus, students living in the dorm rooms, as well as their college costs increasing typically from 3 to 5% every year. That being said, thank you once again for watching today's video. My name is Ed from Principia Prep. If you did like today's video, please leave us a comment and a like. It does help the channel. If you're looking for additional college content, hit the subscription button. It will notify you when new videos come out. And on our screen here, you see our contact information. If you do need help individually, please email us or shoot us a call. We are here to assist you. Other than that, thank you for watching today's video.